Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the process of exporting in a model from IES VE to eQuest using Pollination Rhino plugin. So this is a real model that Edwin shared with us, and he was nice enough that he said we can use it for a tutorial. I cannot share the model with you, but this is a good model because it basically is not modeled for a tutorial, right? This is like a real world model. So the first step is this file was exported as a gem file. So you can import that file to IES, to Rhino. So what you can do, you can go File, Import, and then if you have Pollination installed, you should see gem as one of the formats, one of the supported formats for import. So I'm going to open this gem file. I called it IES sample. I'm not going to run the validation on when I import because there will be validation issues, but I'll show you how to fix them. So I select no to get the model in. We will still get an error here that says found invalid faces. And in this case, I can click here and go to perspective. There's an invalid face. You can see the error here is it failed to make a planar surface. So I can see the face is here, right? I can select 4 of them and press and show. So the problem here is these faces are not considered planar in the tolerance of the Rhino model, which is a tenth of a millimeter when we import a gem file. This is fine. You have to redraw these faces, and it's pretty quick to redraw them. I'm not going to do that here because this is not this tutorial is not about like how to draw geometries, but it's pretty easy that you can basically draw them as polygons and then or draw them as a single planar face. But that's not what I want to cover here. Um, Other than that, the first thing that I would do, so something to keep in mind is when you bring a gem file in gem file, you don't have the adjacent faces, right? Everything is set to outdoor. So you need to do solve adjacency before exporting it to eQuest. So I'm going to use the command PO solve adjacency. And then make sure intersect is yes. Face match is set to yes too. And then run the solve adjacency command. So I select everything and press the space bar. And it takes a few seconds for this model with 89 rooms to be solved. So now um, this model, if I go here and color by boundary condition, and then go here and click on render settings and remove outdoors and refresh, you'll see that all the screen faces are interior faces. So the adjacency has been solved between all these different faces. Okay, I set it back, refresh, close, and I'm going to color by type again. So now I'm going to run the validation command, PO validate model, select everything. Oh, I had to select it before. If you don't select anything, it runs it on the whole model. And now you see I have 2 error messages here. So let's check one by one. So it says invalid subface geometry. So if I select and press show, click show here, you see there is this door here. So the error message, it says this face is not coplanar or is not fully bounded in its parents, right? If you don't want to read this and you want to get more information, you can also click on this more info and it will open our documentation with information, exact information about this error and usually a suggestion of like how to solve it. So in this particular case, I can see after I ran solve adjacency, this door is exactly on the edge, and that's not valid uh, in the Open Studio Energy Plus world. So we want to offset this slightly inside. So the command for that is PO offset child object. Offset distance here is set to a centimeter. I can even do a millimeter, and it should be fine. So let's do, actually I do 5 mm, and then press enter, and you'll see that this is now offset. Did I do, oh, I did 5 cm, sorry. Control Z, uh, rerun the command, offset child objects, and offset distance is set to offset distance to 0005. And press enter, and now it's resolved. You can see there is like a 5 mm. Now if I press revalidate and press enter here, you'll see that issue should be resolved. So we have only one more to go. So let's see, what is this one? So this one is telling me that there is an air boundary, but the other adjacent face is not set to air boundary. It's basically outdoor. So the reason this is happening, and this is apparently valid in IES, is you have this face that's set to a hole in IES, so it's kind of like represents air. And then part of this is not adjacent to any other face. So when we do solve adjacency, um, now I get this validation error that you have an air boundary to outside, which is not allowed. So this part I have to change the type and set it to a wall. So I hold down Control Shift and click on this face to select it. Sometimes you need to just here, select on the right edge. So this is a room face. And then I run the command PO set, is it set or edit? Edit face properties. And here I'm going to change this from air boundary to be a wall. Okay, and now this is set to wall. I use the command show to bring everything back. So now if I revalidate and press enter here, I should get my model is valid. Okay, so the model is valid. Probably good time to save. This is, I go to IES eQuest. So this is 3D file. And now that I have this, all I need to do, and it's a valid model, save as an IMP file, which is eQuest geometry. So IMP save. It will take a few seconds, and I got the IMP file. So now if I go to eQuest, I can go open, go to that folder that I just created, change this to INP. I think it stands for input. I might be wrong. And then select OK. And it should start importing the model. It'll probably show up on the other. Here you go. So here, this goes, no errors, 6 warnings that we can most likely ignore. So you can see level 2, level 3. So what it does, it groups them based on the Z um, value, like the height of the floor for each level. And now if I go in 3D, you should see the whole model imported, all the shades, all the doors, and all the windows, which we call aperture. So one thing, there are a few things that it took care of without complaining. One is all this non-planar, non-rectangular, windows are now split into rectangular windows. So there is one here. There are more. Here, there is another one here. I don't know how to pan. That this is the one that you can see here. This is one. The other one is if you had any other. So there is a strange door actually in this model that is not eQuest friendly. So here, this one. So you see this. There is a U-shape window here around this door. So this is something that the plugin basically merges these two together and makes a single one. If I reset camera, hopefully I can find that door. It is around, it should be here, I don't know. But Yeah, you see there was no error, so just trust me on that. Let me see. Oh, here. So this is the one, and you can see this is now basically is a single aperture all together. It's merged together. If you don't like this, if you don't like this to be merged, then you can go inside Rhino and split this face, right? So it will be one rectangle, two rectangle, three rectangle, and another one here. So rectangles stay separate each other from each other. It only happens when you have non-rectangular apertures in your model. Yeah, so that was it in around 10 minutes with my explanation. You have the full model coming from IES to eQuest. So you can now reuse it for reuse the geometry at least of the model in eQuest without the need to redrawing everything from scratch. Thank you so much, and let us know if you have any questions.